Buckle up everybody, because on this video I'm going to be taking a look at the latest incarnation from DJI, which is the DJI Air 2S, the successor to the hugely popular DJI Mavic Air 2, of which I've recently bought myself. So why have I bought this model? Well, quite simply, I am not sponsored by DJI and I do not get my drones for free. I've purchased this with my own money to review on the channel, and purely because I'm the type of person that always has to have the latest tech. I'm sure many of you feel the same way. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a series of videos. I'm going to explore all the features and benefits of this drone over and above the Air 2S. Now, a lot of the main features, such as setting up and unboxing, I have already covered with that Air 2 video where I did a 3-part series. So please do go check those out, because what I want to do in this video and going forward is spend less time on things like that and more time flying and testing out some of the features. So what I want to do is get this out the box. We'll take a brief look and then we'll get in with the flights, and let's talk about some of the reasons why you would or possibly wouldn't buy this drone. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at getting this out the box, and we'll take a brief look at what comes with it, a brief unboxing, and then we'll get on with the flight as I've just suggested. So let's get this out of the box. There has to be a quicker way. And as if by magic, with the power of editing and jump cuts, the drone is now unboxed. So what do we have? Well, we've got our drone, we've got 2 spare batteries, a bunch of spare propellers. Hopefully you won't be needing those, because it possibly means you've crashed your drone. We have a charging cable, we have different cables for the different phone that you might be using, whether it's USB-C, Lightning or USB micro. We have a charging block, so you can charge all 3 batteries at one time. We have a charging brick and a power plug, and then we also have some ND filters. Okay, now if you're not fully aware of what ND filters are, these are what they look like, and they simply clip onto the front of your camera. Okay, now in this kit you get an ND4, let's say ND4, ND8, 16 and 32, which should be good enough for pretty much all applications. Very rare you need an ND64, but of course, you know, there is some aftermarket ones out there that you can possibly look to buy. Okay, so realistically, if you do not know how to use ND filters or what they're actually for, I have done a video previously where you can see exactly how and when you use them. So please do go check that video out, because you will find it useful and it will make you better at what you're doing. Okay, so we have our controller, which is the same controller which has come with the last few DJI drones. So this comes with the DJI Mini 2, the Mavic Air 2 as well, and now of course the Air 2S. Now, I'm not going to go into a full detailed explanation of all of this, and I'm not even going to go into a full detailed explanation of how to assemble the drone. And the reason for that is because I've just done it very previously using the DJI Mavic Air 2, and essentially it's pretty much the exact same. Okay, so what I will do is I will just leave a quick link in the description below and the card above my head now, and you can go check that out, and that's going to make things so much quicker, and I don't want to harp on about too much in this video. You also get the nice satchel style case, which has got absolutely loads of room, and for me as a creator on YouTube, that is absolutely handy, because not only do I need to put the drone in it, it means that I can fit my ND filters in there as well, and generally any filming equipment that I'm taking with me, such as my DJI Osmo Pocket or any microphones or anything like that. So ultimately, that's what you get. So let's get on to some of the good and bad points before we even start, then we'll roll on to the main part of the video. And as if by magic, this has now all been cleared and we are left with our new Air 2S. Okay, so like I said, do go check out how to install all the props on the previous video that I have done. Now, the first thing to draw your attention is going to be the upwards obstacle avoidance sensors. Now, obviously this is not a beauty contest, and it's more about the performance of the drone. But let's be realistic, those are looks only a mother could love. I'm really not a fan whatsoever. I think it doesn't look brilliant, but ultimately, like I've just said, it's not a beauty contest. It's more important to what the drone actually performs like. And ultimately, having that upward obstacle avoidance can only be a good thing. One thing that we are still missing is the side sensors. Now we can only guess as to why DJI have omitted them, but I guess they must have some sort of reason. However, I cannot quite think what that may be. One little negative to talk about is the flight time. With this drone being physically heavier, we do get 3 minutes less on the flight time, 34 minutes for the Mavic Air 2 and 31 for this. Now, many people will say that's not a huge problem, and you're probably right. However, if you are in a scenario where you've possibly overreached yourself and you are itching to get back, you might well wish you had those additional 3 minutes. Just like one of my subscribers that sadly was in that situation and unfortunately did lose their Air 2. Thankfully, it was a positive result with DJI Care Refresh, but ultimately I think it would be much better to not lose your drone to begin with. So let's now talk about price. Now, if you are the type of person that money is no object, then you're going to go out and you're going to buy this drone. Similarly, if you are the type of person where you always have to have the latest technology, then the chances are you are still going to go out and buy this drone. Now, in this video, I'm going to explore a lot of the options and show you the features of this drone in particular, so you can decide whether this drone is right for you, given its slightly higher price point than the Mavic Air 2. Okay, I know quite a few people that are actually hoping that the launch of this will mean that the price of the Mavic Air 2 actually drops, because that's a more ideal drone for them. Now, I'm going to answer in these videos whether what you get in this drone is actually worth the additional money. Of course, if you are one of the lucky people that's gone to Best Buy and you have been able to just return your Mavic Air 2 under that 365 return rule that it seems Best Buy and DJI have, then obviously you have got a huge advantage. You would just do that and you get a brand new drone and you pay a couple of £100 more and get all the new features. But for those that are wanting to consider, this is quite a strange position for the drone to be in. The reason for that is because this drone is both cheap and expensive. Okay, so it depends on which side of the fence you are sat. And the reason for that is because if you are a general consumer, okay, and you generally are using this for point and shoot, and you are not going to utilize the 5.4K, and you are not going to utilize the D-Log color, the chances are this drone is going to be quite expensive and possibly not worth the additional amount of money, unless you absolutely have to have the latest tech, of course. However, on the flip side, if you are a prosumer, if you like, and you use this drone to make money and you use this for your professional work, then actually, given the fact that, you know, it's got so many new cool features with the obstacle avoidance, and this is the genuine rival for the Mavic 2 Pro, which of course has been out for quite some time now. So compared to that drone, given the fact that you've got much more up-to-date technology, yes, I do understand you don't have the variable aperture on this drone, but ultimately this is a much more modern, up-to-date drone as to the Mavic 2 Pro. So if you're in that sort of space, if you wish, then this drone is then cheaper. So it's all about perception and which area you are actually in. Now, something I want to cover is to do with restrictions in the UK and in Europe. Now, in the States, where this is governed by the FCC, you do not have so much of a problem. In fact, you've actually got more broadcasting power than what we have in Europe. And that is the same again on this model here. And it is being increased as well. So even more range. So in Europe, okay, and in the UK, we are restricted when we are looking at a drone over 249 grams. Now, so much so that I have done some videos on this entire subject and various ways of which you can get most out of your bigger drones. So many people have asked me, you know, will this be restricted at the end of the legacy period, which ends in 2022? This drone is not CMARC. And what that means in the UK specifically is at the end of that legacy period, at the end of 2022, no matter what qualifications you have, this drone then falls back into A3, which means you have to fly it 150 meters away from people and built up areas. Now, there is something in the UK called Article 16. I have done a video on this subject, with which this allows you, with the benefit of joining a flying club and doing a risk assessment, to lower that distance to only 30 meters. So if you haven't watched that video, please do go check that out. There will be a link above my head now, so you can go do that. So I don't want to go too much in terms of the full specification of this drone. I've already covered that in a previous video, and there's a big chance that if you're watching this, you're probably already going to know what this drone does come with. So let's cover it in a couple of brief sentences. So we've got that 5.4K, which of course is a huge bonus. Not so much in terms of picture quality that you're going to see eventually, with most displays being 4K, but more importantly, when you are coming to sort of post-production and you are looking at cropping in, you are going to be able to crop in without losing any quality, okay, over and above 4K. So some of the flight modes then, we obviously got new Mastershots, which are really cool, and I can't wait to show you them coming up next. So that's going to be absolutely fantastic. And of course, we have AirPass 4.0. Now, I do know that sometimes the Mavic Air 2 did get a little bit stuck. So I'm very keen to see how good the improvements are with those top sensors and with the new AirPass 4.0 as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll that video, and I'm going to head out now, and then we'll pick this up on location. I'm going to get the drone in the air, and don't forget, like I said, there will be many videos coming up of this, and what I would like you to do is just let me know in the comment section below anything you would like to see specifically. And once again, I do repeat that obviously I'm a smaller YouTuber and I've only had this for a few hours, and obviously I haven't had the opportunity to test it for weeks like some of the more polished videos you will see from the bigger drone YouTubers. So please consider subscribing for all the future videos coming up. So let's roll that footage now, and we'll pick it up on location, and let's see some of the cool features in action. So what I'm going to test out in this video is some of the camera functions and give you some examples of how good the new 1-inch sensor actually is. And also there are some trees just over there. So I think I'm going to be brave and test out some of the AirPass as well with the new AirPass 4.0 and just check out the obstacle avoidance. And then what I think I'll also do is test out the new quick shots and master shots and just see how well we get on. Let's be honest, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. We are all good to go, everything's updated, we've done our brief safety checkup and pre-flight checklist, so let's get the drone in the air. Ready? So we're going to do this manually, spin the props, check complete, and our drone is up in the air. There we go. What do you think to that? That's our drone. So let's go for a flight and let's really test this out. The ascent speed and the descent speed have absolutely been modified for this drone. As you can see, it raises height and goes up really fast. As you can see, that's doing it at 6 meters per second. But let's start our recording then. There we go. And do you know what? From the absolute off, look how, I mean, this is absolute stock. All right. I've not adjusted absolutely anything, as you've seen. And let's just go into our camera settings. So camera. So we are in, as you can see there, H.265 auto flicker, but the color is locked in because we're recording, and we are not even using D-Log, we are using normal. Now, obviously D-Log, which is your 10-bit, obviously is going to give us much brighter colors in post, but this is a conversation we're having in the studio as to whether that will actually be useful for yourself. Right, so let's try something which could be quite good, and let's go for a top speed test then and just get this out of the way. So let's spin round and see how far we can go this way. So what we got, 19 meters per second. We might have a slight tailwind with that, but that's pretty damn fast. So I think it's best we stop that recording, and then what we'll do is we'll go into this setting here and we'll try it some 5K. Now, the trouble is with 5K, let's start that recording again. So the trouble with 5K, okay, is most screens are not going to be able to utilize it, but where it will be beneficial is, say for example, we are just hovering, okay, and then you want to, if you're hovering and you want to zoom in or out, then you are going to get a lot less loss than what you would have done because you've got the higher resolution to start off with. There we go then, so that's me and all my gear and kit. Right, so shall we try some of the spotlight then? So let's click that back into 4K, and that should now become available. Subject scanning. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll keep it at 4K 30. Now as you can see, it has already picked me up, and then let's press record. And then, there you go, let's go for a little walk. And of course the drone is tracking me, which is a really, really cool feature. All right, and what I can do is I can click into activetrack and then click parallel, go. There we go. So it's flying along with me. And like I said, I mean, if you have already seen this, you know that I tested this on the DJI Mavic Air 2, but it's doing a fantastic job. And quickly run the other way. And that kept me in view. That did a really good job actually. So let's stop that. Back to activetrack, and we'll go with trace. There you go, now it's coming around all by itself, didn't touch anything. Do we try the air pass then? So what we've got, safety, we've got bypass, okay? I wonder how well it can do at following me. Right, so we've got activetrack on. See what happens. This is a nervous moment, isn't it? So it's trying to find a way through. And I think it's a So there we go. I had to give it a little bit of a helping hand there. See what happens when we get to this little section branch right here. What's it going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going up, you're going through. You've done it. There we go. Absolutely superb. Yeah, you've done it. Fair play. That was quite a tough test, to be perfectly honest. That wasn't a really, really easy test. So, yeah, there we go. So let's try the point of interest. Let's get a little bit more height, and me selected again. There we go. Let's click go. Obviously it does have obstacle avoidance, so it'll be interested to see how that goes. I did really, really well. And that's just clearly just going to keep going until I press stop. So let's press stop. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to stop that recording. And then I think it's time for some master shots. Okay, so do we let the drone do what it needs to do? Right, so as you can see, based on the subject's distance, the aircraft will automatically shoot a number of clips and create a master shot. Okay, so yep, let's select me. In fact, it's done it already. Estimated flight time 2 minutes. Well, do you know what? Let's just leave it to do what it wants to do. So I'm going to keep an eye on the drone itself. So it's doing a zoom in and out. It's going to do a medium circle. Now there is some trees just there. Interestingly, the drone isn't actually pointing in that direction. This is really cool. It's now doing a journey. What's doing next? To do a far circle, which I think we're well above the hazards. But of course, one thing to mention as well is if you do, if you are doing a master shot or a quick shot, all you need to do is flick the trigger, and seriously, you are okay. You just flick the trigger, and it will come out of that. So if you are heading towards an obstacle, we're trusting the drone here, aren't we? We're going to rock it now. And considering we've been doing all this, we've still got 26% battery. I love that camera down in circle. That's a brilliant quick shot. Love that. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to let this continue to do what it's going to do. Camera straight and descend. Well, it's pretty much above my head, so this is a little worrying. Let's move. There you go. So now the drone is just returning to its original location all by itself. I'm touching absolutely nothing. And there you go. As you can see, that's played in the background, and it's created its own little master shot. How my height's a bit strange, actually. That's a little worrying. The height is showing minus 0.8, but I'm not entirely sure how it can, because I'm higher than whatever I took off, and now it's just jumped to 1.2 meters. Very strange, but anyway, that went really, really, really well, and I'm genuinely impressed, especially with the air pass through those trees. I think that was absolutely superb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the flight there, and we'll pick this back up in the studio. So what did you think to that video then? Really, really, really impressive drone this is, and the colours and image coming from that 1-inch sensor is just absolutely mind-blowing. Okay. Obviously this wasn't an exhaustive video. I'm going to do so much more, and I want you to let me know in the comment section below what you want to see next. Video has gone on a little longer than what I anticipated for the first video, but as many of you had quite a few questions, I wanted to answer as many of them in this video, so then for the future videos we can concentrate on the specific subjects in matter. Okay, so if you are looking to purchase one of these and you're really impressed with what you've seen, please do consider using the affiliate links in the description. It really does help the channel out. And also, if you are yet to fly this drone, again, I would urge you to really look at DJI Care Refresh or some sort of independent insurer. I have done a comparison video between Care Refresh and Cover Drone, which is available in Europe and the UK against Care Refresh. So hopefully you can go check that video out and see which one works best for you. I personally have chosen to go with Cover Drone. It provides a really good service, but as long as you've got something, because this isn't a cheap drone. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. So please give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. It really does help the video and channel grow. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to respond as much as possible. Thank you very much for watching. See you again soon.